I've got something different but the same for you guys today. What's going on? Carter here with Edge Mindset. Thank you for joining me on this amazing unboxing here. What do I mean by different but the same? Well, it's in the same family of what you've been seeing on my channel a lot lately. A little bit of a hint with the unboxing knife here. However, this is quite different than what I have been showing and talking about. In fact, this is actually a first for me. I have never owned this particular, I'm trying not to give it away, this particular flavor of this type of knife before. And I think it'll be kind of fun because I want to share some insight as to why and kind of how I've changed in regards to that. And on top of that, you know, just kind of a cool knife. Okay, so we have it taped to the inside of the box there. Boom, there we go. What does this say? Enjoy the Dwyer. Yes, this is a Duane Dwyer custom SnG. If I can open it up here, I'd like to share a little bit of information on this knife. There we go. Okay, had it taped kind of weird. By the way, this is, okay, I'm going to admit something here. This is the knife that I thought had been lost. Oh, no, I got a spooky patch. I have got a spooky patch. This is the first spooky thing I have ever owned. If you're watching this, bro, which I don't know if you are. I don't think you're watching this, but thank you so much. So I am an idiot. I thought this knife had been stolen or misplaced. I did a video on it. I think it was my Rosie XL unboxing where I thought the mail guy had put it in the wrong box. And I'm an idiot. I think I need a vacation. It was put into... no, it wasn't put into any box. I was looking at the wrong tracking information, and I pulled up old tracking. I saw that it had been delivered, and obviously there was nothing in my box, and so I thought it was lost. But what really had happened is I was looking at a package that had already been delivered. The date was from a while ago, and I just didn't notice that. And anyways, here's the knife. It was still in transit. Not lost at all. So let's get on to it. What do we have? Duane Dwyer Custom SnG in 440V. What the hell is 440V? Well, 440V, also known as S60V, is the first powdered metallurgy steel, super steel. The first one. First one ever was 440V, which was later changed to S60V, which is the precursor to S30V. So very old, right? And by today's standards, it is not a comparable steel, right? But it is a cool piece of history, and it's cool that Duane used this steel. Now, I don't know the exact date this was made. I'm thinking 2015, 16, maybe somewhere around there. And I believe at that time, this steel had already been retired. But Duane is kind of the steel guy, and he was known for making knives in cool, unique, different steels, and so I'd imagine he pulled this one out of the grave to make this knife, which is very, very cool. He's also known for doing chisel grounds, just like you see on this recurve right here. Absolutely beautiful. So for those that don't know, who is Duane Dwyer? Well, Duane Dwyer is the other half of Strider Knives Inc. So the original Strider company was half Mick, half Duane, 50-50. I mean, I don't know what the exact contractual ownership of the company was, but for all intents and purposes, they both own the company. Now, Mick, bearing the Strider name, was kind of the more known of the two, I want to say, and he was the more in front of the camera or repping the company, so to speak. But Duane was equally involved, and he did his own customs just like Mick did. So this is a custom that Duane produced during that time. Look at that hand-rubbed satin finish on there, man. This thing is absolutely killer. And what's interesting about Duane Dwyer knives for me is back when these were around, right? Duane is still making knives under his own brand, just like Mick is, although he's not nearly as, I don't know the right word to say. He's not nearly as prevalent, I guess. People aren't as aware of his stuff. But his knife designs are really cool. He's had some issues with warranty and some of his reputation and things like that. But where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So back when he was producing knives under the Strider name and he was part of Strider, I didn't really like his custom stuff. I always gravitated towards Mix because Mix was a little more out there, a little more aggressive and artsy. He did the whole nightmare grind thing, which I thought was cool with the grind lines. And Dwyer was always more practical in what he did. He really liked the chisel grind, which this is the correct way to do a right-handed chisel grind, right? Where the flat side is towards you so that as you're cutting, you can see where that edge is going to be splitting that material and then it's going to be pushing it away on the other side, as opposed to having it reversed where it's awkward when you're trying to cut it with the right hand. Really liked chisel grinds, and he was really into steels. In fact, the majority of the cool stuff Strider was doing with different steel types back then was all coming from Duane. He is the metallurgist of the group and promoted all those cool steels, Z-Ware, all that stuff, you know, I imagine came from him. But his customs were always a little more, I don't want to say bland, but they weren't quite as visually exciting to me, and so I didn't gravitate towards them like I did mixed stuff. But now I've kind of changed that, and you know, I've matured a little bit, and I really like Duane's old stuff. The only problem with it is warranties. So these are not covered by the Strider, the Mix Strider, the M Strider warranty that's currently in place now. And like I mentioned, Duane has had some issues with his warranty work, some complaints and some problems. I've heard of some success stories as well, but I've also heard of some pretty nasty things about people not getting their knives back or not getting a knife they paid for, things like that. So there is a little bit more risk if you buy some of these knives. It's just not going to be covered by warranty. So buyer beware if you pick up these old Duane customs. If it develops a problem, best bet is to send it to another knife modder outside of the Strider family and have them do the work, or just live with it, which is kind of what I was thinking with this one. You can see the lockup is a little on the later side, and I'm thinking if this develops lock rock, which it does not have right now, if it does, I'm just going to live with it. I'll just have a knife with lock rock. You know, it's not the end of the world. It does look like it's getting really good coverage though, so I don't see it moving over quickly. And this is it looks like a flat lock face. So lock slip shouldn't be too much of an issue. You never know though. But if this does start to develop a little bit of slip or lock rock, which by the way, lock slip or lock rock is no indication whatsoever of lock failure. It's purely an auditory, you know, like true lock rock is where you could shake this up and down and you'd hear it kind of clacking because there's space between the lock bar and the lock face, and it would go click, 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 click. And of course, lock slip is where you think it's locked up and then the lock bar kind of will move over a little bit. But neither one of those things are actually indicative of a knife that will fail on you. It's simply an annoyance, you know, of a bygone era before we completely figured lock interfaces out and things like that. So I'll just live with it. In fact, I'm kind of thinking I may start collecting some of these nice old examples of Duane Dwyer knives. This one is absolutely pristine. There's not a single mark on this thing. It is beautiful. I may actually do a little bit of knife modding on this myself. I think I might throw a ceramic detent ball inside here just because I like those better. You can see how that steel detent ball, if you can see it, how it's kind of flattened. Oop. Flattened on the top. That is just from rubbing on this track. You know, it kind of flattens it out and it softens that detent feel. And so, yeah, maybe I'll throw a ceramic detent ball in here because don't really care about voiding the warranty because there's not really a warranty to void, right? So that is kind of the fun thing. So stay tuned for a takedown and a detent ball swap on this knife. All right, guys, catch you later. I'm out.